Thank you. President Biden announcing new vaccine mandates that could affect up to 100 million Americans. A pair of executive orders requires all federal employees to get vaccinated within 75 days. There are exemptions for religious or disability reasons. His administration also wants to compel 17 million employees of federal contractors to get vaccinated, or those companies will lose their funding. The mandate also targets health care workers in facilities that receive Medicare or Medicaid. The president wants to extend vaccine mandates to the private sector as well. He has instructed the Department of Labor to draft a rule that would require businesses with 100 or more people to get vaccinated or get tested weekly for the virus.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love.
It's unclear how long it will take for the new rules to go into effect. Legal challenges to them are expected. Biden is also urging all states to require vaccines for school employees, and he promised the federal government would support educators in states that have banned mask mandates. As you might expect, the president's announcements garnering mixed reaction. But what standings do they have constitutionally? Joining us to break that down is Dr. Mark Caleb Smith, the director of the Center for Political Studies at Cedarville University. Dr. Smith, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Let's start with the issue that would affect the most Americans. How much influence can the Labor Department have over private businesses?
Potentially quite a bit of influence. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration really gives the federal government a lot of latitude to intervene in the private workplace in a lot of situations. But what's being talked about now, obviously, is quite different. So to what degree can the president issue an emergency mandate, which is essentially what's happening here, and will that survive judicial scrutiny in the process? That's a different question. This has been tried before through that OSHA statute. 9 times that we know of, and 5 times it's been struck down one way or the other. And so I think the president's got a high mountain to climb here, at least legally and potentially constitutionally as well.
In terms of the executive orders that he signed, is there a difference in the authority the president has over federal employees compared with authority over federal contractors?
Yeah, I think his authority over federal employees would be a stronger legal argument that he can make in terms of mandating vaccination. Over contractors, I think that gets more complicated for sure. We've seen the president attempt to do this through the health system, and he's doing it now also through not just medical personnel, but people connected to medical personnel. And so this is the direction that he's going. I think the farther he gets out from that explicit authority over federal employees, the more difficult it's going to be. But of course, his argument is that the coronavirus presents such a unique threat that maybe his powers should be allowed to be this expansive due to the crisis.
What type of lawsuits do you expect could stem from all of this?
Every single kind of lawsuit imaginable, probably. I think it's going to be challenged. As soon as everything gets signed and sealed and delivered, it'll be challenged within courts. I think that the courts will probably actually have to deal with this pretty quickly. The nature of the pandemic is such that they can't take 6 months or a year, which they may often take to even review something like this. I think it'll happen pretty fast. And so you're going to see constitutional challenges based on Article 2 of the Constitution, and you're certainly going to see challenges based on how we interpret that OSHA statute.
Could any of those challenges delay putting any of the president's plans into motion?
That's going to be the issue the court's going to have to resolve right up front, right? So they will grant an injunction if they think there's a good chance that the challenges will succeed in and of themselves. If they think there's a little chance of success, then they may not grant the injunction and things will move forward. So yes, potentially legal challenges could delay this, at least for a little bit of time.
Dr. Mark Caleb Smith with Cedarville University. Dr. Smith, thank you for your insight.
Thank you.